Hey, this is Hattie from Express Mobile Solutions, and about a week ago I posted a question if anyone had any hands-on with this microscope camera from Union Repair, and I didn't really get too much of a hands-on experience. They did have a video on their website, but nothing beats having a hand-on review or an experience. I'm making this video because I think a lot of people can benefit from it. It's a small review of this camera that you can get on Union Repair. Just to give you guys a little disclaimer, I have no history or experience of making videos or video editing. So if the quality of the audio or video is not good, just excuse that and bear with me, please. Okay, let's just jump right into it. All right, as you can see, the quality of this camera is amazing. Let me zoom out a little bit. I mean, it's stunning. And I don't have that much experience as far as like editing, the exposure, the contrast, the balance, all these weird settings that I am foreign to for recording. I don't have that much experience, and you can adjust that by pressing the menu like here. Adjust the white balance, exposure, sharpness, all this stuff. So I'm sure there's little tricks or little settings that you can do to increase the quality. I'm just not that experienced in doing this, so I'm sure some of you other guys, you might know more than me. So anyway, this I play with the settings just a little bit, and I really like the results of just playing with these settings. This is a 6 Plus, and I mean, it speaks for itself. Let me zoom in all the way, or that's not even all the way, this is all the way. I mean, just look at that. Look how beautiful. And I have a bad history with microscope cameras. I will get into that in a little bit. But first I wanted to show you guys this. So, yeah, the quality is something that I like. Also, it comes with a little remote that I'm using to press the menu button. So that's nice and handy. Another thing I like about this camera is it's not as bulky as my other cameras that I'll show you soon. I have purchased 3 other cameras before purchasing this one, and I'll show you that, or show you guys which ones I purchased before this one. It records in 1080p with 60 frames per second. I do have a 1080p capture card as well. I'm not sure if I had a 4K if it would show better, even though this camera outputs 1080p, so I don't think it would make a difference if I had a 4K capture card or whatever. But I am using a 1080p capture card to record this. Also, the price. I mean, this thing cost, I don't know, $150, $160. Well, I'm gonna go jump to the link very soon to show you guys the price. But the camera is very, very inexpensive. It's actually the lowest price camera I've ever purchased, and it happens to be the best. So I guess people always say don't be cheap on your cameras or don't be cheap on your equipment. I agree, but sometimes in some situations you can find a cheaper one better than the more expensive ones. Yeah, so the price is very good. Also, this thing has a feature that none of my other microscopes have. It has what's called digital zoom. So I'm holding the remote in my hand, and I'm going to be able to zoom. Watch this. This is a digital zoom. So on top of capturing what's in my microscope lens, it can also zoom in and out digitally. Now, this feature is pretty cool. the other microscopes I've had, the other 3 ones that cost more than this microscope, did not have digital zoom. So digital zoom is it's pretty cool. Of course, it's gonna get a little pixelier. I'm not even sure if that's a word, but you can see the pixels as you zoom in because it is a digital zoom. So that feature is nice. You may or may not use it, but it's nice to be there, and you might use it one day. I don't know. So let me zoom in really close. I mean, just look at that, guys. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, now let me show you my history with microscope cameras. Alright, so I'm going to start in order and how I bought these things. Hold on. Let me turn off this capture. I think I turned off. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I have this camera right here. This is the first one I purchased with my microscope. I did not like this one because it did not have an HDMI output. You can only connect via USB and I think Wi-Fi. I'm not sure, but maybe USB or Wi-Fi. I don't know. But yeah, it wasn't good. The image was very choppy. Wasn't a lot of frames per second. Yeah, I did not like this one. Okay, I then moved on to this one. Now this camera, you see it costs $495. So I've already spent $266 and $495. Now this camera, it was okay. It wasn't bad. It had 60 frames per second HDMI output, 1080p resolution. But still, the image wasn't clear like you see in iPad Rehab or Luis Rossman's channel. And this is actually the microscope that Luis Rossman recommends. It's not his exact one, but it's it's the one closest to his. But anyway, it was okay, but still, the image quality wasn't as well as I wanted it to be. I called Microscope and I asked them about this, and they told me, okay, it is a 1080p resolution, but it's a 2 megapixel recording that. So they said you'd have to buy another model. I think that costs like $600 or $700 to get sharper images. So I said, no, I'm good. I'll just use this one. And then I purchased this one right here. I figured, okay, since this one had 2 megapixels, even though I don't see it anywhere, but if you call Microscope, they'll tell you that the camera is a 2 megapixel camera. I was like, okay, this one has 14 megapixels. Well, let me get the one with more megapixels. So this one, it was okay. It's 1080p, 60 frames per second, and it does have HDMI output. It was okay, but still, it wasn't what I was looking for. So after I purchased these 3 microscopes, I just ended up using this one. Whenever I had to use a microscope camera, and then I saw this one. And I was hesitant to buy it because I was like, all right, this one has 14 megapixel cameras, or 14 megapixel camera. And this one had 2. But now this one says 23 megapixels. So maybe, since it's 23 megapixels, the image is going to be better and sharper. So I posted on the group. I posted a post on the group asking if anyone had any hands-on with this microscope. Didn't get too much feedback, so I said, what the hell with it? It's $150. Let me buy it and try it, even though I was discouraged from my history of purchasing microscopes. So I bought it, came in today, and I am absolutely amazed, and as you can see, it's cheaper. It's the cheapest one out of these 3 that I bought. So yeah, it's cheaper. And in my head I was thinking, like, before I bought it, okay, it's cheaper. Why is it cheaper? Well, okay, no, this one is $130. I'm sorry, it's not the cheapest. I'm sorry, I paid $130 for this one. I felt like I paid more. Maybe they reduced the price, I don't know. But yeah, I was like, how can this camera be better than this camera, But whatever. Came in, and as you can see, let me pull it up. I mean, this This is so sharp. This is exactly what I was looking for. Exactly what I was looking for. So very happy with it. I know there's a lot of micro solderers on this group. You guys probably know more than me, but if you're having problems with your microscope camera, I would highly recommend this one. You know, because I spent close to $1,000 just ordering microscopes that I'm not even going to use. You know, should have returned them, but I kept them because I figured maybe I don't know too much about it, maybe I'm not doing something right, and I just got lazy, so I just never returned them. And now I'm sitting on 4 microscope cameras, and I'm using the second to cheapest one that I purchased. So really like it. Hope you guys don't make the mistake like me and buy a bunch of microscope cameras that you're never going to use. Get this camera, very nice. Oh yeah, and another thing to mention, like I said, I'm not that experienced with video editing. So this is the first time I'm using Adobe Premiere to edit. So I don't know if I can export the video in a higher resolution than what's showing now. So I don't want you to think like I'm looking at the picture right now live and it's amazing. I don't know how this video is going to turn out though. The video might reduce the resolution just because of my inexperience of making videos and selecting the right settings. I don't know. But yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there before I finish this video. Yeah. Alright guys, take care.